Hi everyone, so today I'm back with a new video and I'm going to be reviewing Catrice Cosmetics brand new Nude Drop Tinted Serum Foundation. This is what the packaging looks like right here. I picked this up off of Amazon for $10 and Catrice used to be sold in Ulta, but they are unfortunately no longer sold in Ulta stores, but you can find them on Amazon. This is where I picked this one up. And if you guys remember back in the day, their HD liquid coverage foundation was like very, very hyped up, and for good reasons, because this is one of my all-time favorite foundations ever at the drugstore. For $10, it is amazing. So now that 2024, I feel like is shaping up to be more of a serum-based, like when it comes to your foundation, like more of that natural-looking effect on your skin. And I found out that Catrice released this product. I had to pick it up and review it for you guys in today's video. So if you are interested in my thoughts on this brand new serum foundation from Catrice, please continue to keep on watching. Make sure to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here's what the packaging looks like right here. I love this dropper applicator because I feel like this is a better way of just like actually getting out as much product as you like. Because I know a lot of times when it comes with a pump, you don't really have much control. But I do prefer, I wish all foundations came in a drop applicator. It's a lot more convenient. So this foundation retails for $10. You can find it on Amazon. They have 20 shades, and then I will read the claims on the back of the bottle right here. And the writing is so small I can barely read this, but it says it's a breathable formula with light to medium coverage, flexible on skin for a long-lasting skin-like result. It smooths and blurs imperfections. Okay, so you will receive 30 ml, 1.01 fluid ounce of product right here, and I have the shade 10 neutral, which this shade looks a little bit light, like in comparison to their HD liquid foundation. If you guys can see, it's a lot darker, and I wear the shade number 32 nude beige. So I'm hoping that this will be an okay match. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to apply any primer today because I feel like I just wanted to see how this foundation works on its own. So I'm going to apply one side with my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge, and then on this side, I actually picked up this It Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe limited edition flawless foundation brush off of eBay. Look at how cute this brush is. Like, it's in the shape of a star. Just look at this packaging. Like, I'm obsessed with this. And I only paid like $13 for this on eBay when this brush was like $30-some. So I'm going to apply one side with a sponge, one side with a brush. So, and I'm going to include swatches at the end of the video, but I'll just take a little bit on the back of my hand to show you guys what it looks like. And this is the shade number 10. Well, let me pick this up. It's not, I did not get enough out. So this is what the shade number 10 neutral looks like. I'm hoping that this will be a pretty okay match. I hope it's not too light, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent shade match for my skin. So I'm just going to take some of this. I'm just going to drop it. I'll drop some on my head because I know a lot of people, they like to apply their foundation like this, but you know what? I think I'm just going to drop some onto my sponge and make it a little bit easier. No, you know what? I'll put some on the back of my hand, make it easier. So here's what it looks like right here. The texture does look runny, but it still has a nice consistency to it. Like, it's not dripping down my my hand. So looks like a pretty nice texture, and the shade match looks actually pretty good. So I'm just going to start blending this in to my skin. And like I feel like Catrice Cosmetics as a brand overall, they do not receive the recognition that I feel like they deserve, because I'm telling you, that HD liquid coverage foundation is honestly one of my all-time favorite foundations that I've ever discovered. And I pretty much like picked that one up off of Amazon, like on a whim. Like, I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did, but it truthfully just surprised me. Like, the coverage of it is beautiful, long lasting, and I have dry skin, and it pretty much, like, it blurs everything. And it's just amazing foundation. I feel like it definitely did deserve the hype that it received all those years ago. But here's how this is looking so far on my skin. It's definitely light coverage. You guys can see. You can see right here, you can still see the moles on my skin. But overall, like, the finish of it, it's definitely more of a, it kind of doesn't look as dewy. It looks a little bit more matte, but looking good on my skin so far. Okay, so now I took more on the back of my hand. I'm going to apply it using the foundation brush, and so far so good. Like, the shade match is actually pretty spot on, because I thought it was going to be a little bit too light, but I feel like it is meshing well to my complexion, which is always a good thing. So I'm just going to apply some on this side of my skin, and yeah, so far so good. I just love Catrice Cosmetics as a brand overall. Like I mentioned, they just come up. They have some really incredible products for very inexpensive. Like, they don't receive the recognition that I feel like they deserve. But let's just see how this brush applies the foundation, because I did not, this is my first impression using this brush. So hopefully it will apply it well. And I think I applied a little bit too much on this side. So I'm just going to just put a little bit extra on this side of my skin just to see if we can build up the coverage. And, you know, I'm honestly, to be honest with you guys, I'm not liking how this is applying with a brush. You can see it's looking pretty patchy and streaky. So I think I'm just going to just go over this with my sponge, because I feel like, considering that this texture is very lightweight and runny, I think you have way more control when it comes to just using a sponge. Like, I feel like it's a lot quicker, and it's like it's always been my go-to to apply my complexion products with a brush regardless. So I'm going to blend this in further with my sponge, and so far so good. It's looking really, really, really nice on my skin. Okay, so here's how it's looking on my skin so far. You can tell very light coverage, but overall, looking at it up close, it looks very, very nice. It does look a little bit textured, like around my nose. You guys can see it's looking a little bit textured around my nose, but I feel like once I apply my concealer and powder and set it with setting spray, I feel like it'll melt a lot better into my skin. But this is definitely suited for those of you who just like light coverage, because the coverage is very light. Like, I wouldn't even consider this to be medium. I would consider this to be a very light coverage. So you know what? I think I'm just going to apply a little bit more on the back of my sponge. And let's just try to pat it like right over like my moles right here. And let's see if that we can build up the coverage just a little bit more. But I feel like, let's just see if we notice like a little bit of a difference. Yeah, I don't feel like this product is buildable. I feel like it covered a little bit, but this is definitely meant for those like everyday. Just like this is definitely an everyday foundation. So I'm going to go in with my concealer really quick. I'm just going to be using the Covergirl Trublend Undercover Concealer in the shade L600 Light Nude. I'm going to apply a little bit of my products that I know that I love. And let's see how this product reacts with it. I don't want to apply too much concealer like all over my face, because I just want to honestly see how this concealer performs on its own. But I'm just going to apply just a little bit of concealer. And I'm just going to apply like that much for today, because like I said, I just want to see how this foundation wears on its own. But so far so good. I definitely do prefer the HD Liquid Coverage Foundation over this one. But I think it's just because even though I've been wearing a lot more light coverage lately, I still like the finish of that foundation a lot better. I feel like this one does look a little bit drier on my skin, and the other one that they have does not look dry at all. So the only thing I can say so far is I'm not loving the finish of it, but it doesn't look bad, but it's definitely not one of my favorites so far. Okay, and then to set my skin, I'm going to be using their Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder in the shade Waterproof. I meant to say in the shade Translucent. This is what it looks like right here. I have used this powder previously, and it's a very great powder. It definitely does a great job at setting your makeup. So just going to apply this all over my skin, and this powder has been around for a really long time, but how I like to tend to use this powder, I kind of like to just apply this as like a topper. Like, I'll apply like a powder that I know and love first, and like a loose powder, and then I just like to apply this pretty much in the areas where I know I might get a little bit of shine breakthrough throughout the day, because I don't like to apply pressed powders underneath my eyes that often, because I feel like they just tend to make things look a little bit more dry and a little bit more textured. But considering that I do not have a loose powder from Catrice, I just had to use this one for today, just to try to stay on pretty much using like everything Catrice in today's video besides the concealer. But so far it is looking nice on my skin. It's setting well. I feel like once I apply my bronzer and blush and highlighter and lip products and stuff like that, I will like it a lot better. But it is looking nice once I applied the concealer. Okay, so last week on Amazon, I bought this palette from Catrice. Like, this looks so beautiful. It is their Summer Obsession Bronzer, Blush, and Highlighter palette. And I have the shade number 10, Sunkissed Breeze. Here's what it looks like right here. Like, this palette is right up my alley. You get two highlighter shades right here, more of a champagne-y one, more of a golden one. Then you get more of a cool tone blush, a little bit of warm tone blush, cool tone blush, and these two, like one more of like a pinky and more of a orangey shade blush right here. Like, I feel like this palette is very versatile and great for like springtime and summertime coming up, because, you know, guys, before we know it, it will be that time of the year. So I wanted to include this in today's video. So I'm going to mix the combination of these two shades right here, and I have not tested out this palette. This is definitely a first impression. So I'm just going to apply this onto my skin. And let's see how pigmented this product is, because Catrice makes absolutely incredible highlighters. So this is the first time I will be testing out one of their bronzers and blushes. But I've heard great reviews. I've read a lot of great reviews about this product online. So I just had to pick it up for you guys to review it. And yeah, the foundation is looking nice on my skin, like I mentioned. But yeah, I definitely prefer, like I mentioned, their other foundation formula over this one, because I do feel like it is starting to look a little bit more textured than I would personally prefer. But as I said, hopefully setting spray will set that. And while I am applying this bronzer, I wanted to say once again, thank you guys so much for the love and support when it comes to my YouTube channel. Like, you know, it's amazing. Considering that I haven't filmed a video in close to, it was like, what, almost 3 years. The fact that all the love and support that you guys continuously send my way, just know, like I said, it doesn't go unnoticed. You're all very kind. I truthfully appreciate it more than you all will ever know. And I hope you are doing well. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you would like to see me film, please leave it in the comments below, because I feel like I'm starting to get into a little bit of a rut. And any suggestions will definitely help. And so far, this bronzer, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's not really showing up on my skin. So I'm just going to apply it a little bit heavily. And yeah, I mean, it's showing up, but it's definitely more natural. But I still would prefer a little bit more color, because I just feel like it's not really doing that much. Okay, I feel like these bronzers, like, they did show up on my skin, but they just took a lot of building up. I'm not that impressed, to be honest with you guys, so far. So next I'm going to go into the blushes. Hopefully, I'm going to be using this e.l.f., their brand new liquid blush brush. I feel like maybe using like a denser packed brush like this, it will help pick up a little bit more of the product. So I'm going to dip into this like darker orange shade right here. Going to dip into this, and hopefully, let's see if this will pack on a little bit more of the product, because I just wasn't impressed with how the bronzer was performing. And oh yeah, you can definitely see that using a brush like this, I feel like it'll be a lot easier just to pack on the color. And this color is super pretty so far. I'm going to take that and apply it on both cheeks. And like I said, I'm hoping that this blush and the highlighter will help me like this palette a little bit more, because I wasn't honestly that impressed with how the bronzer performed. I just feel like it was very, like I said, you can make it work, but I mean, I guess this palette is more for those of you who like more of a natural finish look on the skin, which I completely understand, because I know some products can be a little bit too pigmented, but I'm just not overly impressed with it so far. But the blush is definitely performing a lot better. So I think next I'm going to take a little bit of the pink shade, and let's just blend that right over the top, because I tend to love these types of tones anyway. So just blend this one right over the top. And yeah, this is very pretty. Like, the blushes are performing a lot better than the bronzers. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned the price of this palette, but I paid $13 for this palette off of Amazon. So it was $13 altogether, which I feel like is a pretty great deal for considering you're getting 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. It's another thing that I've always loved about Catrice. I feel like they keep their products very affordable, especially with how expensive drugstore makeup has gotten throughout the years. Like, now it's like insane, especially if you go to like Walgreens or CVS. Like, they always love to overcharge. So my advice is definitely shop on Amazon for your makeup, because they just love to overcharge, and it's honestly ridiculous at this point. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to highlighter. And if you guys have been watching my YouTube channel for a while, you will know how much I love their Sunkissed highlighter. Like, look at how huge this highlighter is. It is so beautiful, reflective. One of the most underrated highlighters that I personally have ever discovered from not only Catrice, but in general. And look at the size of this pan. Like, look at it. It is like half the size of my head. Like, I bought this on Amazon back when it was $10. Right now it is $15, but for $15, I promise you, it is amazing. So I'm just going to do like a little bit of a swatch of it. And I'm telling you, you do not need much. Like, just take a look. Take a look right here. I just dropped it, by the way. Take a look at how pigmented this product is. Like, a little bit goes a long way, and it just leaves the most beautiful reflection on the skin. And but for today's video, I wanted to stick to these 2 highlighters right here. And you see, this one is more of, this one will match my skin tone a lot better, because this one is a little bit more gold. And these honestly didn't swatch that well. I feel like they felt a little bit rougher on the skin because this formula is very smooth and buttery and immediate color payoff, while this one is a little bit drier. But I swatched these two shades right here on my hand. So this is the more of the white color one, and this is more of the goldy one. Kind of not even really showing up on camera, but I just tried to swatch the gold one a little bit more. But you can tell, like, it's not very reflective. I feel like the other one is way better. But for today's video, I'm just going to go in with this highlighter right here, and let's just see how pigmented that these are, because that is one thing about Catrice. I feel like they really know how to formulate their highlighters. So let's just apply this onto the skin, and already, do you see how reflective that is? Like, immediately, this is showing up beautifully on my skin, like I knew that it would. Like, look at the highlight. Like, that's the one thing about Catrice. If you were ever looking for some of the best quality highlighters, look no further than them, because they honestly never disappoint. And look at the glow compared to this side of my face to that side, like immediate color payoff. And it's okay, so the rest of my makeup is applied, and I just used, honestly, I just used this bronzer, put it through my crease, and then I took this orange blush shade, just ran it through the outer corner, and then also underneath my eyes. And then, if you guys are wondering, I am obsessed with these lashes. These are actually from the Dollar Tree. They are from the brand Ione, and these were in the style Emma. These are some of the best lashes ever, $1.25 at Dollar Tree. I'm going to be having a full face of Dollar Tree makeup coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that video. But so finally, to set my face, I'm going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte Fix and Go setting spray. This is one of my favorite setting sprays from the drugstore. I have not used it in forever, so I'm just going to set my face with this quickly, and we will see now, once I set my face, how, oh wait, what the hell, what is happening? I think the sprayer is, okay, let me set my face with this. The sprayer was like clogged on here or something, because I haven't used this setting spray in quite a long time, so I'm assuming that is why, but this is one of the best setting sprays from the drugstore. Okay, so here's how my skin looks up close now that everything is set. I feel like it looks very nice on my skin. It does look a little bit textured, like especially like in these areas right here, but I think that might be because I first applied it using the brush. I think this brush just made it look a little bit textured, but overall, I am liking the finish on my skin. It's not one of my favorites, if I can be completely honest. I feel like it does look a little bit textured, and in comparison to their original, I do like this one better. But if you're looking for a natural finish foundation for like an everyday look, I think this is very versatile. A very lightweight. I do not feel this on my skin whatsoever. And I forgot to mention if it has a scent. It has a little bit of a scent to it. It definitely has that makeup-y scent to it. Nothing like overpowering. And honestly, now that I have it applied to my skin, I do not smell anything. But I'm going to take you guys into better lighting so you get a better understanding of how this actually looks on my skin. Okay, so here is how everything looks up close. And if you guys can see, it does look really nice on my skin. It's definitely light coverage. Like, even with the rest of my products applied, like, you can still see the moles peeking through on my skin. So I feel like if you are that type of a person who doesn't like a heavy, full coverage foundation, this will work perfectly for you. I do like how it looks on my skin. It does look nice, but it does bring out texture. So if you have dry skin like I do, and that also can be because I did apply it on this side with a brush, and then I did set my face with the pressed powder, which I usually don't do that. But considering besides those facts, it does look nice on my skin. It feels lightweight, like I mentioned. I could not feel it. The shade match is spot on. Like, I feel like this shade match is perfect. And I do like it. It's not one of my favorites, but I still would recommend it for those of you who want a quick everyday makeup look that requires pretty much no effort, because I feel like you can even just, like, apply this like quickly with like a little bit of bronzer and a little bit of powder and call it a day. But it does look good on my skin. Like I said, it does feel very lightweight. I do not feel anything, but if you have dry skin like I do, be leery because it does tend to show texture. That is the only thing I'm not the craziest about it, but it does still look pretty good on my skin. Okay, so I want to give my thoughts on the products that I mentioned today. So starting off with the Nude Tinted Serum Foundation. I like this product, but I'm not in love with it. Like I mentioned, it does show texture. It feels really lightweight on the skin, and it is a perfect shade match. But for those of you who like lightweight foundations, this is a great alternative for more heavy coverage. But personally, I prefer the finish of their HD Liquid Coverage Foundation because I feel like you could even just use like a bit of this, and it will cover your entire skin. And even though this is full coverage, it doesn't feel textured. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. So I feel like if it was up to me, I would just like personally pick this one over this one. I'm not saying this is a bad product, but it's not one of my favorites. I mean, I just feel like only because of the texture, that's the only thing that's kind of throwing me off about it. But overall, I would probably give this like a 7 out of 10. Like, it is still nice though at the end of the day. And for their Summer Obsession Bronzer, Blush, and Highlighter palette, I do like this palette. The only thing is, I wasn't that impressed with both of the bronzers. I feel like they took a lot of building up to show up on my skin. Like, they do look nice now, but I wouldn't pick this up for the bronzers. I would definitely pick it up for the blushes, and this highlighter was really nice as well, if you guys can see on my skin. Very pigmented, but for $13, I feel like there are better alternatives out there on the market. But if you like these kind of colored tone blushes, and if you want to spend $13 on these, I feel like they are worth it because they did perform really nicely on my skin. But overall, like, this palette probably gets like a 6 out of 10, only because I wasn't crazy about the bronzer formula. And then finally, for the mattifying, the Prime and Fine mattifying powder. I do like this powder. I just feel like this powder works better as like after you set your face with like a loose powder, if you just go over this in the areas where you tend to get shiny throughout the day. Because I set my whole face with this today, and I feel like it was kind of a mistake because I think that may be the reason why I'm not loving how this foundation looks on my skin. I feel like it might have to do with this powder. But overall, it is a great powder. It does contain shine because it does help stop shine, I meant to say, throughout the day. And for only being, I believe I paid like $8 for this powder, it is worth the money. So, yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed my review of all of these products from Catrice. I will be definitely recording some more videos soon. And once again, thank you all for the love and support. It does not go unnoticed. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. I love you. Okay, and here is what the shade 10 Neutral looks like. It is definitely a neutral, perfect neutral undertone. It doesn't pull too pink. It doesn't pull too warm. It's just very, very perfect. And you can tell the texture of this foundation is definitely a lot. It's runny, but it's not like super runny. Like, it's kind of like an in-between texture, which I do prefer because I feel like a lot of times when those foundations are too liquidy, they do tend to like get everywhere. But this one does not do this, but this is what the shade looks like up close. And like I mentioned, this foundation is actually pretty nice, but not one of my favorites, unfortunately. But overall, Catrice as a brand, they are amazing. So, like, they have so many incredible products on the market. And of course, not everything is going to become an instant favorite. But I feel like as the more I experiment with this product, I probably will get to like it a little bit better. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my review. And like I mentioned, I will talk to you all very soon. Okay, I want to come and show you guys in daylight now. So hopefully the texture will be able to show better on camera. But I just went into my bathroom and it did not look good at all. Like, I was shocked at how bad it actually looks. So I kind of feel like I'm going to take back what I said. I do not like how this looks on my skin. Like, of course, right now it looks good, but when you get really super up close, especially like I just did in my bathroom, it looked really dry and really textured. So, I mean, I don't want to say that I like hate it, but I just do not like how it's looking, unfortunately. Like, I just feel like I said a million times, it brings out a lot of my texture. But yeah, I guess you can't win them all. But overall, I still love Catrice as a brand. But this product, yeah, it's not one of my favorites.